prospect of contaminating the enemy's water supply is certainly a drastic response. But no matter the threats that come our way, we must ensure we remain vigilant in the face of adversity. In other news, the fallout following the recent oil crisis has companies making desperate attempts to consolidate their assets as prices continue to plummet all over Britain. With no end to the embargo in sight, our only solution remains to sit back and see what happens.
Am I correct in thinking this is Reaper's Croft? Which I'm assuming makes you the owner of this endearing acreage. A pleasure to meet you. I'm Mr. Harriot.
Delighted.
Would you mind if I come in for a glass of water? I'm awfully parched. Lovely. Much obliged. What is this?
Water.
I mean, where's it from?
Tap. Out in the field, fill a water tank from the well every couple of days.
Damn worth the effort. That's the best water I've ever tasted. Did you paint that?
No, I never had the time. Old man's had it for decades. Been here as long as I haven't. I couldn't tell you anything about it. But then you didn't come here to look at paintings.
Beautiful as it is, you're quite right. I'm here on behalf of my employers, who are in a position to further explore the agricultural sector. Now, outside those I'm sorry?
No, I'm not selling.
But you've barely let
You
me
want
yet.
the farm.
Very astute.
Do you see a for sale sign out there? That's because there isn't one.
Everything's for sale.
This ain't.
That can change.
Not in this case.
At least let me make you an offer.
I don't want one. There'd be a for sale sign out there if I did.
There should be a not for sale sign if you didn't.
Lock on the gate, not give it away.
Well, you could hardly hear me from there, could you now?
I don't see any other farms with not for sale signs.
Well, then they have no reason to kick off when I turn up unannounced.
Term trespassing mean much to you?
We're just talking. In any case, you invited me in. But I don't want to waste any more of our time. I don't want to burden you unnecessarily. The paperwork's all in order. Just need a signature and we're peaches and cream.
So you want to buy the place? And you think turning up here unannounced with paperwork in your hand's the best way to do it?
Well, fortune favours the prepared.
Rarely favours the arrogant. I'm not uprooting any time soon.
Well, can't say I didn't try. That being said, I couldn't forgive myself if I were to leave here without at least giving you an indication of the figure I had in mind. I can arrange for that to be paid in cash if it's more convenient for you.
Awful lot for a few acres.
Not to cover any inconveniences you might have, and for you to find yourself somewhere more enriching for a man of your caliber. Heck, you could always buy a new farm if it means that much to you.
So could you. Fair few farms around here. Someone's bound to sell. Try one of them.
Do you have a television set? But you read the papers. What do you know about the embargo in the East?
Yanks pissed them off, so they raised the oil price. Stopped trading with us. Last I heard, it had cleared up.
That's certainly one way of putting it. They're trading with us again, yes. Ramped the prices up too, you can be sure of that. But cleared up? No. Not for some time, I shouldn't think. But that's beside the point. Before this mess out east, my employers were looking to expand their interests outside of Britain, rubbing shoulders with international clients, bringing business back home. You get the picture. Now, with oil being what it was, you can understand why I chose to pitch them the idea. Not without its drawbacks, granted, but they knew the risks when they got involved. Didn't stop them losing a fortune, though, when the markets fell through. Not enough to go bankrupt. We weren't hit as bad as some, but enough to matter. All we could do is sit and watch as our investments and months of effort drained away. But we're crawling back. We're on our feet building bridges. We're surviving. Now I'm tasked with eliminating the need for trade by finding more convenient investments in land, knowing full well that all major oil refineries are already owned and that we'll be ridiculously outbid on any that become available in future, thereby effectively rendering my services to the company non-existent. Now you can imagine my surprise and delight at finding what is potentially the solution to my predicament. I'm unequivocally convinced that some 3,000 feet beneath us lies a fortune in black tar, ripe for the taking. I sell it on for a small fortune. We split the difference, and you and I get a ticket to a better standard of living. All you have to do is take this pen and sign just there.
So that bit about you being sent was a lie?
More of a slanted truth. Does it make much difference? Look, I know it's not easy for you to get your head around the concept of leaving this place, but it's in both our interests. Oil is volatile. 1 minute it's worth a fortune, the next a pittance. If we don't act straight away, we'll be shooting ourselves in the foot.
So you want me to sell my farm?
I do.
My home for the last 5 decades. This place has been passed down through my family for generations. My father to me and his father to him. When I was born, the old man took me out there and he showed me to do what he did best. Laboured in those fields with me by his side year after year. And when his body no longer allowed him to, he collapsed where he stood. Lived out the final days of his life in his bed till he didn't have the strength to breathe. This wasn't a job to him. It was a way of life. Rewarding. If you had ever done an honest day's job in your life, you'd understand. My father taught me to enjoy the work, take pride in it. Gave everything he had to this farm, and I fully intend to do the same.
Do you think there'll be a place for farmers such as yourself in the next 10, 15 years?
I don't know. But I'll not see everything he's worked for be put in the hands of someone who won't appreciate it. So it dies with me. When that time comes, you're fully welcome to the place. But I'll be damned if his only possession going out with me is his name.
If this is about the money...
Give me everything you make from that oil. Won't change my mind.
I can't go back to them with nothing. It's my fault they're in this mess.
Weather causes my crops to fail. It's not my fault.
So you're going to live out the rest of your days alone in this shack?
You got a problem with that?
And it concerns my welfare, yes I do. Look, I didn't want it to come to this, but needs must.
What are you saying? You're going to take it from me?
I'm saying I'll tear it to pieces whether you're in it or not. I've worked too goddamn hard to get this far, and won't be stopped by some deluded old farmer who's too stubborn to move out of his house. If your old man had cared more for money rather than his outdated ways, he might have made a better life for himself, instead of blinding his son with some old-fashioned concepts. It's high time you learnt the way of the world. So, you have two options. One, you sign this, take a generous sum of money, and go to live wherever the hell you want. Or two, you watch as I put my considerable resources into taking this land from you, ripping it up, and draining it dry.
How?
I dare say if we dug deep enough, substances would be unearthed that would render your ownership void. Now, I know the money may not be enough to sway your principles, but I'm sure there are others more susceptible to persuasion. Now, what's it going to be? Fine. I'll be off then. That is, unless you are going to offer me another glass of that water. That's fine. I'll help myself. Oh, please, give me something to show to the police. It would make my job so much easier. I meant what I said about it. Truly remarkable. It seems a pity to leave it in its current condition. When I first arrived, my intention was to politely request the use of your lavatory. But frankly, I was fit to burst, and didn't know whether or not you'd let me in. Thankfully, something in your field caught my eye, so I made my way over as quickly as possible and found myself standing next to your dear old well. I unzipped, poked myself over the edge, and released. Standing there, pissing against the wind, it dawned on me that no matter what you had to say, this land already belonged to me. It was just a matter of grinding you down or driving you out. And what's a drop of piss in a sea of oil? You know, I once heard you can taste a drop of lemon through a pint of water. Do let me know if there's any truth